At the age of 21, an adventurous Floyd Ririe took to the skies above Ogden with a barnstorming pilot named Harold Sweet. This would mark the beginning of a lifelong passion for flight and a pioneering career in commercial aviation.
I enjoyed the ride so much I wanted to learn to fly. So I talked to Hal and Tommy Thompson about taking lessons. The last part of April, I went out to the airport and took my first lesson. I was thrilled and started saving my money for more lessons because I felt so good in the plane.
Born in Ogden in 1906, Floyd was captivated by those early flying machines and was determined to take to the skies. He took a job as an airplane mechanic in Salt Lake City to earn money for more flying lessons.
I had 4 hours flying time when they gave me a plane and said, "Fly it." The instructor said, "You can fly as good as I can, so go ahead." I took it. I thought maybe this would be the only time I would get a chance, so I took it to Salt Air in Salt Lake. I was gone about 40 minutes. The instructor thought I had cracked up and killed myself.
With pilot's license in hand, Ririe began living the life of an itinerant pilot of the era, barnstorming around Utah in a rickety old biplane, while still working as a mechanic. It was during this time that he made a famous friend who sometimes made stops in Utah.
Gosh, how I remember Amelia Earhart. She was really a regular gal and could keep up with the best of pilots in discussions about aviation. Amelia, at this time, was testing and experimenting with new aircraft, which we thought were really big time. Heck, she'd fly in there with a 650 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engine, and we would all stand around gawking at it like a 5-year-old watching another slurp down an ice cream cone. She was big time to us.
In 1929, Boeing started a small flying service. Ririe hired on with the Boeing Air Transport Company as a co-pilot to fly their passenger planes. This was his first job in what would become a long and distinguished career in commercial aviation.
He was one of the first airline pilots from the state of Utah. And unfortunately, it didn't last very long. They only made a few airplanes, and they had a few accidents. They ran out of airplanes.
Despite the many obstacles in his way, Floyd kept flying. He worked hard to keep his license current, and eventually the world was plunged into the chaos of World War II. During the war, he put his skills to use, teaching a new generation of pilots for the military, eventually joining the Corps himself as part of the Air Transport Command. Too old by this time to see combat, he was tasked with ferrying warplanes from Southern California to destinations all over the world. He flew over the North and South Atlantic, braving the dangers of flying across open oceans. He also took several planes across the vast Pacific all the way to Australia. In 1944, Floyd began flying troop transports in the Alaskan Air Transport Command and flew numerous missions to every part of Alaska and Canada. Despite the hardships caused by flying in sub-zero whiteout conditions, Ririe stayed in Alaska until the war ended. While in Alaska, he was promoted to captain, but later turned down a promotion that would have made him a lieutenant colonel. He just wanted to go home.
After the war, a group of Salt Lake businessmen started Challenger Airlines, which at the time was a non-scheduled airline. They were flying twin-engine Beechcrafts and later DC-3s that were released from the military. And the Challenger Airlines flew down to Albuquerque and over to Denver, and they later combined with a couple other airlines and they formed Frontier Airlines. And Dad would stay with them till he retired.
For 20 long years, Floyd Ririe flew with Frontier Airlines, the very first pilot hired by the newly created airline. But all good things must come to an end. At the age of 60, Floyd Ririe reached the mandatory retirement age for pilots, and so with a heavy heart he bid farewell to the career he loved. The very first pilot hired by Frontier became the first to retire. Disappointed but undaunted, Floyd Ririe and his wife Bernice devoted the rest of their lives to volunteering for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and spending time relaxing with their family. Floyd Ririe was a trailblazing aviator, accumulating an impressive 25,000 hours of flight over his 45-year career and helping to bring safe air travel to the masses in the 20th century. He passed away in 1999 at the age of 92 and was laid to rest in Salt Lake City. He was mourned by his large extended family and by those with whom he shared the skies and a young man's dreams of flight.